Howdy, all Molex Lives. I think it's time to play a little 7 Days to Die. Where'd that guy go? Oh, there he goes. I don't know why I spawned in there. Is that where I logged out last time? I don't remember. Man. I thought I was going to get back on track last week, but I turned into a slagger. I've been playing so much Roadcraft. I love that game. I don't love that game. I wouldn't say it's one of my favorites, but it is currently my time waster. I actually completed the campaign. Not 100%, but close. I tried to 100% every map, but one of the maps you had to bring this. There's these weird archaeology quests where you gotta like go out to the site and find the missing artifacts, and then later there might be a second part to that where they're like, now go get the artifacts and bring them back to this location. And so one of them had this thing where I had to go and get my hands on a safe. There's a few of those. And then I had to get the safe out of the rubble, I think. And then bring the safe to this guy in another part of the map. You don't bring it to an actual guy, you just bring it to a building. There aren't people in the game. And then once you get to once you get to there, then that led to the location of an artifact. And so I had to go out in the middle of all these weird canyons and drive around trying to find the path through the maze of canyons. And then once I found the artifact, then I had to bring it back to that guy's house. And so I brought the artifact back to the guy's house. But the game acknowledged that I brought the artifact back, but then it didn't. Like, I got the there's like a narrator, or not a narrator, but there's like this woman that gives you oh dang it, I thought it'd kill me. Oh. Maybe I can get a bone off of it to make my... Yep, bone knife. Oh no. How many bones do I need? I need 5 bones. Never mind. Never mind. I don't think I'm gonna get 5 bones. Huh, I got 3. Oh, I came all the way up here because I thought I could sneak in to get the item, but apparently the item is inside. So we can figure out what floor it's on here. It's on the other side of this wall. Can I break through 5,000 wall? Oh, I'd have to do it twice, though. Yeah, that'd be awful. Alright, fine. Fine. Do I have to go in through the roof? Oh, man. I don't want to go in through the roof. That's going to trap me inside. My air conditioner turning on, being real loud. It's too hot. It's like first thing in the morning here. Oh, here we go. It's first thing in the morning here, and it's already 88 degrees today. I don't like 88-degree days. Oh, man. Yeah, so whatever the reason is, it didn't acknowledge that I completed the objective, even though it gave me the lady cutscene telling me that what a good job I did and that they got the information they needed from the artifact. I'm like, great. So, can't complete that one. And then, there was an earlier map that left me at 97% for that map. And then there was an earlier map that I only have 94% completed. And it indicates, it tells you what you've got done for the map. And so it's telling me that I'm missing 2 side quests, but there are no side quests when I load into the map, so I don't know what I missed. I wonder if I didn't like complete them early before it gave them to me. But I guess you can go back and restart the map, which would be it. Oh, I forgot I only have 1 hit point left. Which would be interesting because as you play through the game, you get experience and you go up levels, and you go up to 1 through level 20. And whoa. Listen, I didn't realize you were gonna spawn in my bed. I sealed this place off for me. Why are you here? This is my place now. I claimed it. Oh, and now I failed that quest, didn't I? Alright, I've got to find a place to call home, is what's got to happen here. Let's go deeper in and see what we can see. But yeah, so I've gone up all the levels, so I've unlocked all the vehicles, and well, now you can go back and clear a map and start it over, but I think you get to use all the unlocked vehicles. So it'd be way easier with the end-of-game vehicles to go back through. But I did download custom made map, and I'm checking that out. I don't know. It seems currently it's weird. It seems not very detailed. Uh, like the campaign maps are like, I wouldn't say they're carefully designed, but they're pretty carefully designed. And um and so the ground, again, this is why I don't think they're carefully designed. The ground seems more in the direction of realistic in the campaign maps. So, like, there might be a high spot, and then there's, clearly, there's always been a disaster. So it's like, I think most of the maps are some kind of earthquake, explosion, or something along those lines. And so you're trying to repair all the infrastructure, and uh, what are you doing? Playing a game of Ring Around the Rosie here? What's going on? And so most of the maps were experiencing some kind of major flooding event. I think every map basically but one. Although technically they were all like, I think this could make a good base once I break off the metal ladders. Okay, I'm gonna break off these metal ladders. It's gonna take me a while, but I think this will make a good foundation for base. Nice, big, wide, open. Um, so almost every single one of them, except the one. Well, even that one had like a river through the middle of it. Um, so there was even flooding on the desert map. But most of them are like torn up by flooding, and so there's like mud plains and flash flood ravine kind of things. And so this new map I started, this custom map, just got these big wide open swaths through the middle of everything, and I don't understand what they're supposed to be. I mean, I barely started the map. I finished the campaign last night at like 2 a.m. I stayed up way too late playing that game, but I wanted to. Well, I was listening to a podcast, and I was gonna finish the episode of the podcast, and I finished the podcast, and then next thing I know, I'm like, oh man, just let me finish this one more quest here, one more mission, one more job. I can put this little road in. I can move these supplies from one point to another before I go to bed. And then it started the credits, and then the last map is about I think it's natural gas, and the company mined out all the natural gas, but didn't I guess didn't flood the tunnels, and so everything started to collapse. Um, Although there weren't any collapsed places. There were some exploded building areas, but there weren't any collapsed places. There was all flooded places. So I was a little confused by that map because the earthquake disaster map really looks like an earthquake hit the place, and then there was flooding. Um, uh, the biggest map in the game, the one that took me the longest to complete, was called Deluge, and that one definitely everything was underwater on that map, and I don't use knuckles. What is this? Red tea, okay. And then I'm not going to use shotgun, I don't like it. Okay. But yeah, so whatever happened, the explosions, whatever. So it starts the credits. I finish the map, and then this truck appears, and apparently the truck tried to run off with the data, and so then the lady sends me after the data, and so I get in my scout vehicle, um, which is basically a pickup of some kind, usually, or a truck of some kind, a little small truck. I was it Deluge? I think Deluge. You get the Lynx, which is probably the best scout vehicle in my opinion. There's a tracked one that's really fast, which is nice, but the Lynx Scout has these big wheels that stick out in the front of it, so it can climb over stuff easier. And it's a snorkel truck, so it can go in deeper water than most of the other tracked or the other scout vehicles. But so I took off and I found the black box, and then I grabbed it with the winch, and then I ran it back to where it's supposed to, and then the lady is like, I made a copy of all the data, and then she's like, oh no, and then these black trucks come out, and they show them drive across the map to the place where the data is, and then she says she's gonna upload her copy to the internet because she's ready for a vacation from her job. I, so, yeah, so maybe I should jump back and redo those couple of maps I didn't get to finish. I don't know. Let's see. What did I watch this week? We did a marathon of. I think I talked about that already. Did I talk about that? We did a marathon of the 28 days, or the 28 days, 28 weeks, 28 years movies. I think I talked about that. Did I talk about that? I'm pretty sure I did. 28 days later, still the best one. 28 weeks is okay. Lots of famous people in it. I forgot were in it. 28 years is weird. It might as I don't know. It's weird that 28 years later is by the same guy who made 28 days later, and they're just so different. They're so different. They're like I don't remember the name of the guy, but Night of the Living Dead, which is, considered like the zombie movie that started it all, was made by two people, George Romero and somebody else. I wish I could remember his name. It's just not coming in my brain. And they wanted to do sequels, but they wanted to. Each one had a different idea for their sequel. And so the second movie following Night of the Living Dead, there's technically two different sequels to Night of the Living Dead. One is by George Romero and one is by the other guy. So there's two different zombie series, and they're very different. And Romero's got like Day of the Dead, Dawn of the Dead, all that stuff. And uh, is the first one called Night of the Living Dead? Yeah, I'm drawing a blank. I can't remember. I think so. And then the sequel on the other side is I've seen it. I can't remember what it's called though. And so it went with a different storyline, and um, it was less. It was still pretty apocalyptical, but it was more. I don't know. Like the Romero movies are usually more like the people, um, and then the other set are more about the zombies. I always felt. I just remember the other set, the um I found to be creepier, I think, than the Romero movies. And they've got like the scene where they're hiding in the attic, and then right at the end of the movie, um the zombies break through the attic door in the floor, and then you hear it freezes, and then you hear a gunshot because the character is killing the other character to stop her from being eaten by the zombies. Or uh they're in like a warehouse of medical supplies, when they accidentally open one of the canisters of the chemical that's causing it all. And I think that's where it happens. And then there's like a preserved half a dog that's like laying on the floor panting, because it's come back to life. And I remember those two scenes from watching the movie. I think the one set is of the Living Dead movies, and then the other set is of Dead movies. I think that's the two sets. I wish I could remember off, but I just can't remember what that other guy's name is. Anyways, even though the same guy made 28 Days, it really feels like 28 years is in a different universe than 28 Days. So in 28 Days, right? Um, in 28 Days, the zombies they're not zombies, they're people infected with a virus that basically shuts down your higher brain functions and makes you angry, I guess. And so um, at the end, I don't. At the end of at the beginning of 28 weeks, which I don't know, I didn't check. I don't know if it's by the same guy. But at the beginning of 28 weeks, they're like, yeah, all the zombies died because they starved to death. And then what happens is they bring this woman into the military base, and she's infected, but she's immune, sort of. I don't know how immune she is. She seems a little crazy, and so I don't know if the virus was affecting her. It just wasn't completely affecting her, but she seemed emotionally out of control at times. And then, but she's infectious, and so her husband kisses her, and when he kisses her, he gets infected because saliva is one of the carriers, right? Bites. And so they lose control over the military base. And then 28 years later is like this weird mutated zombie peoples. And so there's like these big gray colored, it might just be covered in mud. I don't know. I think they're just big gray colored, and they're like slimy, and they're like snails, but they're people. And so they're like crawling along the ground just eating whatever they find that's edible. And so I thought that was weird. I do think one of them was standing up at one point, but they also showed a different one later that was like covered in slime. And so I don't know what the deal was with them. And then there were regular zombie. Well, I don't know if there were any regular zombies. When I say regular, I mean I don't know if there are any 28 Days Later zombies in that movie. Because then they show like these packs of zombies, but they have an alpha who's like 7 feet tall or 8 feet tall, and they obey the alpha like completely, and um, and then for whatever reason the alphas like to tear the heads off of their victims and pull out their spinal column with the head. I don't know why. And they showed it like 2 or 3 times. And so I thought that was weird. But then there's this scene that makes no sense to me. And they aren't zombies, right? They're not really zombies. They're not undead zombies. They're people infected with the rage virus. And so they go in this room. There's this guy hanging there, and he's got words carved into him, and he's got a bag tied around his head. And I couldn't make out what the words were, and they didn't say. And so he's got a bag tied around his head, and somehow he's alive as a zombie with a bag tied around his head. He's like hanging from the ceiling, and his hands are bound. He's hanging from his feet, but there's a bag tied around his head. And last time I checked, you can't breathe with a bag tied around your head. And they even make a show where he inhales, and the bag goes up against his mouth because there's nowhere for him to inhale from. But I'm just like, shouldn't he be dead? Like, I don't know how long he's been hanging there. The blood's dried. Dude, you made the first movie. Your virus doesn't bring back the dead. What the heck's going on? Anyways, yeah. I haven't watched anything this week though, not movie wise. I watched what's it called? I was gonna say Suicide Squad. Squid Game. That's what it's called. So I watched the Squid Game finale. I think it's the finale. It was okay. I don't think I liked season 2, 3, because technically season 3 is the second part of season 2, in my opinion. I liked season 1. I thought it was interesting. I felt the characters were more relatable maybe in the first, not relatable, but like, it felt like they put more effort into building their character. You know what it was? Okay, this is what it is. The first season, they have a few characters, and you're like, oh yeah, I get it, right? And they build up this emotional connection to the characters, and it's pretty good. It can be a little weird, but it's pretty good. Okay, so now what have I got to do? So I've freed myself from zombies crawling, but now I can't get up here. Is my problem. So maybe I need to make my own ladder here on the outside. Nope, that's not a letter. Dude. Ladder. Can I get like 10 of these? Okay. You can't go flat against the side of that? Okay, I need the flat side. Where's the flat side? Oh, here's the flat side. Okay. Well, the flat side's got writing on it, so it won't go against the flat side. Great. Um, what's the other side look like? Oh, there's a pipe on this side. Okay, you know what? We'll go up next to the pipe here. Okay, and I can use the pipe as my jumping point, maybe? Can I reach that from this pipe? I can. Okay. Nice. Um, and then the second one, it just feels like they they just put in characters to be dramatic. And they didn't put as much effort into creating necessarily emotional backstory. So it was like this old woman and her son, right? Okay, and that was fine. And then there was uh, this girl who was pregnant, and then her she didn't know he was going to be there, but then her ex-boyfriend is also there, who's the father. What do I do? Is it can't remember if it's technically 1, 2, 3, 4. Can I do that? 1, 2, 3. That's more than 5. 1, 2 to be there. And then we go to the other side here. And we go 1, 2. Okay, I can't remember if this is too far. And yes, I do need to build up because I've got to get up high enough that the... Oh, well, the zombibles don't realize I'm up here. Otherwise, they will tear things up. Just stuff like that. And what are the chances, based on the first movie, that they would bring in people that closer, connected to each other? And then there was like some other weird story I didn't understand, where there's like this woman who's one of the guards, but she also doesn't want to be one of the guards. I didn't understand all that, and then maybe I didn't pay enough attention. I don't know. And then you got the main guy from the first season. He's back again for the second season. Demands that they put him back in the game. And then there's like there's just so many weird connections, and then I don't feel like they really played him out. And then like one of the guys in the game, his brother, I think it's his brother, is in charge of the games, and he's been looking for him. And then there's like this detective guy trying to figure out what's going on, and uh, and then there's like these people who work for the games, and they're trying to misdirect everybody out in the real world from what's going on. And uh okay, what is this symbol? I'm at my quest limit. That's my and so I don't know, it felt a little all over the place to me. And it didn't have a lot of games like the first season did. uh and so often there'd be a game, but then the game would be like the last 3 minutes of the episode and the first 3 to 10 minutes of the next episode. And you're just like, oh, okay, so now we're doing the cliffhanger ending for every episode, but the cliffhanger's in the middle of the game every time. I thought I'd enjoy the series. I just, I felt like season 2 and 3, which are technically one long season, probably not as well written as the first season. And the forced ending, I didn't really like. Um, Spoilers, major spoilers. So the girl, of course, gives birth during the games, and then her ankle got broken, so she couldn't compete in the game. And then the main guy, he's like, "Give me your baby. I'll take your baby across." And so he goes across through the game, and it's like this giant jump rope thing. And but you got to cross on a tiny bridge while you're jumping the rope that's pretty solid and will knock you off. It's not really a rope. It's a you know some kind of metal thing that spins round and round. Uh, but then of course nobody wants to go through until he takes the baby through, and then everybody wants to go through at that point, and and they're all getting in his way, so he can't get back to save her. And then there's like 10 seconds left, so she's just like, "Save my baby," and then throws herself off. And I'm like, okay. And then when he gets to the last game is like uh they're on these pillars, and they're gonna uh they have to kill somebody. They have to knock. Oh, dang it! Killed myself falling off the pillar. Um, um, and so they have to kill somebody to open up the next pillar, and so of course, everyone gets killed except for the main guy, the baby, and the baby's father. And then for whatever reason, the baby's father. Now they have to kill somebody every pillar, or else they're all gonna be killed. And so the only way to get through, and have one of the characters uh, be there to take care of the baby is if there's at least three of them for the last pillar. And so the father basically throws himself off on the second to last pillar for no reason. Okay, this is really... I thought this would collapse. What's the distance now? Where's my physics? Oops. Not those physics. Was I taking damage because of my broken leg? Is that what was happening? I was jumping over, I just jumped myself to death. Why is that not collapsing? Okay, so this is 5, and it's still going. 6. Still going. 7. Okay. Interesting. So it's 7 now. Dude, I remember when it was 3. I remember... I remember when they had bridges in the first version of bridges, and the block physics only allowed such a tiny distance. I don't know why I didn't pillar up from the bottom there and start my next pillar. But the bottom, the game physics for blocks was so tiny distance between what would be supported that the the bridges would all collapse every time you came across the game generated bridge. Every time you'd touch it and then the whole thing would just fold in on itself. It's funny stuff. Also, why could I reach that one? 2, 3, 4. Uh-oh. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 2, 3, 4. Oh, because I'm one off. That's why, because I'm dumb. But yeah, so I finished that one. I like the ending. The very ending. I didn't like that they left the main guy with the baby, and then he had to kill himself to save the baby. That was stupid. I liked... I guess I only liked the one part of the ending. The rest of it was meh, whatever. But the part where the guy who ran the games is driving through the city, and he sees American woman starting up the next game. Or maybe she's not starting up the next game, but there's an American woman who's challenging a guy to the whatever that slap card game thing is they do. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Technically, it should be one more, but there's enough space. 1, 2, 3, 5. 2, 3, 4, 5. 4, 5. I know I'm doing that because I can just do this. And then I watched the new season of The Bear, which is pretty good. I like that one. That's it's not it's not usually I talk about sci-fi monster stuff, but The Bear is just a thing about crazy people running a restaurant. Um, they're all like strung out and overstressed, and it's a drama, so they're all dramatic about everything. Well, I feel like this is gonna be my. Oh, there's the ladder. Gonna be my base for the foreseeable episode. I don't know. Sometimes I build a base and then I leave it the next episode, but I'm hoping to stick with this one. Looks like a pretty good amount of space up here. I'm probably will have to put some more space down maybe once I get my garden stuff going. Maybe not. I don't know. I think this should pan out to be a lot of room out this way, and I still got that over there, and I still got that over there. I'll probably see if it'll let me square it off without collapsing as well. Since we can go out 7 blocks now, apparently. But, yeah. Alright, with that, be bright in the small things, leading the light, and I will talk to you later.